Hey everybody, it's Dave, Blue Jacket 66, here for a quick video. Gonna be a little video learning a little bit about the E98 set, a recent pickup for me, and a little recap of my trip down to Dallas. Stayed with Mike, baseball collector, had a great time. Just want to talk a little bit about my Dallas trip and experience. I've had 1 and 2 parts of my 1950s hot dog issue videos. They're pretty well receptive, and got one last one coming. Haven't made it yet, but that'll include rodeo hot dogs, cons, wieners, and morel meats. Can't remember if there's one more borderline I may throw in there, but that'll wrap it up for the 1950s hot dogs issues, and we'll move on to some other educational videos. So one pickup since my last video. A biggie for me, you might recall if you look back, I like the E98 candy set from 1910. Have the complete color run of the Thai Cobbs, and over the last several years, I don't know, 5 years, have decided to do the Christy Mathewson, as I'm a Christy Mathewson collector. I find that far more difficult than the Cobbs. I already have the light blue and a PSA 4, and at Heritage I finally picked up the green here. Pretty nice example. It's got a, well, you can't see it, but a trace amount of paper loss here on the back. The back is not an ad back, because they really don't know where these came from. It's really a checklist of the cards, and there's certainly some greats on there. So I have the blue, I have the green. It's a light green. It's not like the darker George C. Close green, and need the red and the orange. And so the first two have come over 6 years, and we'll see how long it takes to pick up the other two. We will see. So the E98 set, E of course denotes from Jefferson Burdick a candy issue, but I don't think it's really known if this is a candy issue or not. There are certainly similarities with the E93 standard caramel set, and I'll show you, well, right now we'll show you the Cobbs, actually the E93, E94, and E95. E94 is the George C. Close set, and I said E95, I was mistaken, I mean the E98. So there's seem to be some similarities amongst the players in these, but not all. The Cobb has the same pose in the E93 standard caramel, the E94 George C. Close, and the E98 unknown, I guess it should be called. Whereas Mathewson, interestingly, he just has this pose in the E98. He is not in the George C. Close set, the E94, and his pose in the standard caramel, the E93 I have showing here from my collection, is completely different. So I'll show you, for instance, the Wagner has different poses. His standard caramel pose is the same as the E98, with the George C. Close pose being different. So these images are tied in. There's similarities, and maybe that's why Jefferson Burdick thought that this was should be denoted E98. I'm not sure. Interestingly, they really don't know where they come, and certainly what candy company, etc. With the Black Swamp find, which I guess would be 20 years ago, that was found in an old attic of a family that had ties to a very old meat market. So the thought was that perhaps these are all salesman samples, or salesman issue, or cards issued to salesmen to give out to their clients, and that's why this family, or why this meat business had these. Some E98 cards have a stamp that says Old Put Cigars on them, PUT, which would make you think that maybe the owner of that cigar company or shop got the samples, you can hand out these cards, put his own stamp on it. So it's really not known that the E98s were indeed candy cards, but that's the way they're cataloged as such. The Mathewson is pretty rare and scarce, I would say. Very, very, very low populations on each of these on all the colors between both PSA and SGC. Now, that black swamp find was a hoard of over 700 cards. So while 20 years ago the E98s were really, really valuable and scarce, you get a hoard of 700 cards that are in excellent condition, and some of them mint and gem mint condition. It really brings down all the others. I don't think it brought down the Cobbs too much at all, but there are some very high grade cards from the Black Swamp Find. But interestingly, of over 700 cards in the Black Swamp Find, there was only one Christy Mathewson. That was a red background one that was, I think, graded by PSA as 6 off center. So 700 cards in that find, only one Mathewson was found. So the Mathewsons are extremely desirable. Probably the big desirable ones in the set. Let me just look so I can checklist. We know the Wagner, the Mathewson, the Cobb. The rest of them are just super studs like Lajoie, Connie Mack, McGraw. The big ones, of course, are the Cobb, the Mathewson, and the Wagner. So that's it. Really, really happy to get that one. Cool pickup for me. So Dallas, I'll just answer it this way. Number one, I had a great time. I was invited to and stayed again with Mike, baseball collector. He and his wife Julie hosted me. Mike picked me up from the airport. He was pretty under the weather. He had some sort of strange whooping Ebola coughing virus thing that caused erratic behavior and symptoms of mild dementia. But by the time Saturday rolled around, he was feeling much better. But despite feeling ill, he was a great host. Caden and I just had a fantastic time. 2 luxury bedrooms, coffee, donuts, the run of the house, the run of his card room, and the Beast. He gave me the combination to his safe. I think that was inadvertent, but he did, Mike, when I had you hopped up on cough medicine. So it was just a fantastic weekend. Got there Thursday, had some barbecue, got home, just kind of relaxed in the card room and looked at cards. Always great looking at a first-class collection and talking cards and talking personal stuff too. All great fun. Friday, the Dallas Card Show. Now, I get this question a lot. Hey, is the Dallas Card Show for a vintage collector worth going to? Well, for vintage cards, and especially pre-war cards, no, it's not. It's not at all. I would not go there for vintage, let alone for pre-war. It would be complete waste. Very small amount, especially percentage-wise, but it's a large show, so there's some, even with small percentages, there's some. But, you want to go to those East Coast shows for true vintage. And I hope that Dallas will evolve toward vintage. I think they will if they're interested in, because I think the hobby will go more and more toward vintage as people become educated and start to see the light. Whereas you have cases after cases after cases of the same modern cards, we all know that's not going to last. That's not going to be a thing. It's just not. It's people trading amongst each other, selling to each other, and they sell it and they sell it. It's just a money go round thing that won't last for the most part. Some of it will. Some of the super cards will, and the players that people love. But for the most part, it won't. So I'm sure that the show will evolve because more and more people who have that kind of collecting mindset or investing mindset will be falling off. Or moving toward vintage as they become educated. But I did see some good vintage cards there. Certainly Scott Brockelman was there. Spent some time with him of Brockelman Auctions, and he's a very young guy, but a long term collector. And I saw Leon Lucky there, and Rich Klein, and so there was some good stuff there. And what I really liked is there was a lot of good non-sport stuff, Pokemon for my son. So there was a variety, and there was more of that as compared to last time I was in Dallas, which is May of 2021. I would say there was more vintage there than there was then. And I know people don't really like Pokemon, but I wouldn't say there was more Pokemon, but there was more not good non-sport stuff. And I'll show some of that because Caden picked some of that up. Myself, I did not purchase any thing for myself or sports cards. I didn't find anything. And, you get this semi-desperation. You want to get something, but I'm seasoned enough that I can resist that and perfectly happy not buying anything. But stayed with Mike, spent some time with our good friend Andy. She blinded us with refractors, and his brother and some friends of his. They had a table. That was our home base and hangout place. And it's always fantastic seeing him. These people are very, very kind to myself, and more importantly, kind to my son. So it's extra special. I think next time we'll have to spend more time together for sure. One of the highlights was Saturday evening. Dr. Beckett invited Mike and myself and Caden over to his house for a private get-together, a private dinner, private conversations, and showing of some of his sports memorabilia, and more specifically cards. You can imagine the collection he has, but he certainly realizes the importance of his collection, but more importantly, he recognizes the importance of the hobby. We had, I think, the best part of it for me was insights and conversations. I'm old enough where I could speak with some knowledge with him and talk about some of the better days, some would think, of card collecting, more the golden age, and reminiscing a little bit about that. Certainly someone who you would want to pick their brain, and it was just a fantastic evening full of fun and insights and conversation, and again, limitless first-class a collection that we were able to look at. So I thank him again for that. So we did that, and just a lot of hanging out with Mike in the house, and Norman the dog, and Julie, and felt very much at home. What else about the show? Not a lot of I don't know if they're I don't know who they're influencing, but these people that run around waving stacks of $100 bills and have video crews and lights on themselves. Not a lot of that, thankfully. I did not see a lot of that at all. I didn't even see a lot of people just walking around filming cases, and I'm not into filming cases. That's not interesting to me personally. So if it's the purpose of my channel is things that I'm interested in, hoping that I can get other people interested in, and certainly showing pictures of cases full of shiny cards or mantles is you can find a lot of that out there. So I thought I would just kind of share my insights. Not a lot of that. I would describe Friday, it's been described as light. I thought it was relatively light. The weather was bad. I think the general public wasn't open until 2. So it was fairly light. And Saturday I thought was relatively busy. Although there was a lot of foot traffic, I myself didn't see a lot of transactions going on, but I'll have to premise that with the fact that I wasn't really looking for it. But I remember a year and a half ago, there was cash all over the table and those goofy big boxes all over the table, and kids walking around with boxes all over. And I didn't see so much of that. I think Dad said, okay, to a lot of these kids, you've had your fun. Let's put your box on eBay, and we're not doing this anymore. But we certainly want more kids in the hobby, but I saw less of that. I saw far less of that, and I did not see a lot of sales where I was walking by or at a day and they're making sales. I'm not a dealer, and I wasn't there, and I don't. That's just my general impression, and I certainly didn't buy anything either. So, but my son did. He hit it off good with this non-sport stuff. I was really excited about it. I certainly helped him with this. Let me show you a couple things. He bought some Pokemon, but I'm going to show you the Star Wars stuff. Now, these two interesting guys selling Star Wars. These are Panini Star Wars stickers from 1977, and I speak with no authority nor knowledge on this, but these Star Wars stickers produced by Panini were released in European as well as Southern Hemisphere countries, and I was told that they're not Italian, that these are actually Brazilian, is what I was told, and these are relatively unheard of with being Brazilian Panini Star Wars. They're stickers. So he had a small stack of them, so I fished through and got you always want Darth Vader. If you can get a portrait of Darth Vader and the Luke. And there was lots of scenes and stuff like that. A really cool thing that we found and got, and I never heard of, is 1977-78 Star Wars sugar-free gum that came in a box. It evidently came in 36, we'll call them packs, but they're actually posters that were wrapped around a small stick of gum, and so you unwrap the gum, and the poster is what you get besides the gum. And this gentleman had, I guess these are relatively rare. I mean, looking at the populations of the three I have here, they're all, I believe, under 10 known or graded. And these are unfolded, meaning they'd never had the gum in them, never been folded. So ultra cool. The first one I got, I said, what's the rarest one you think? And he says, well, I have one Darth Vader. It's the only one I've seen, and I don't want to get rid of it. He did not want to get rid of it. I asked him to put out a price, and he put out a price. We dickered just a little bit, and I've never seen someone just sit there and think about it literally for 30 seconds with his eyes closed and his arms folded, whether or not he was going to even sell it. And I semi-begged him to, and he did. Sorry about the glare. So this is the unfolded, quote-unquote, poster that when it came in the box, there would have been gum, I presume, on the back side of this, and this folded around it, just like a wrapper. It's the back side. So these are square, I'm terrible at this, I guess 3.5 inches by 3.5 inches, something like that. And yeah, the population, at least the PSA population on this is something like 6. And I just thought I've never seen it before. Maybe you have, someone can comment on it. Maybe you're like, oh yeah, those are not uncommon. I don't know. But so got that one. And then the last day we went back and talked to the guy, and we had Caden look at him again, and we got 2 more in lower grades. But actually that one's a PSA 6, and these are 3s, and they look the same. There is 0 wear on them. I don't know what they're looking at, but anyway, got the Han Solo. And I don't know how many different pictures there were. There were scenes. I shouldn't say I know. I'd have to look it up. I didn't even had time to look it up. And got the Luke. So. And Caden had got a big kick out of showing Dr. Beckett those. And Dr. Beckett asked what he was going to do with it. And Caden thought about it and said he was going to put them in his safe. And my response to that was, like for anybody that gets a new card, is okay, that's something that you want in your safe. I understand that. I have cards that I want in my safe too. But go ahead and take a week or so, a week or two, and have it out and enjoy it and appreciate it. Then if it's something you feel like you need to stow away in a safety deposit box or safe, that's fine. But have your time with it. Put it under your pillow, put it next to your bedstand, or set it out on the coffee table. Enjoy it for a while before you put it away. Because once it gets put away, sometimes you don't get around to looking at it again for quite a while. So that'd be my advice on that. So that's it. It was a super fun weekend. Would I go to Dallas again? Would I go there just as a sports card and vintage collector? No, I wouldn't. Would I go there next month to see the guys again and have the experience with them, knowing I was not even going to buy a card? Yeah, without question I would. So remember these shows. I hope these shows for you are what they are for me. The excitement, the camaraderie, the seeing the friends, the conversation, the knowledge, the learning, the seeing new things, and not, I hope it's not work for you. Some of you, it has to be work because I know that you are part-time dealers or some full-time dealers. I know it's work for you, and I wish it didn't have to seem like it's work. I think a lot of you have been in a short amount of time that it's still fun still fun and work, but I think more and more, if you're a dealer, it will just become work and the stress of making the dollar. And I wish that didn't have to. I'm glad that I'm not in that position because I've seen videos. I've been watching a lot of, I watch videos, and over the last month and a half, 2 months, there's been a lot of ranting videos, a lot of upset about PSA, upset about the influencers, upset about the lack of knowledge, and upset about even just the stress of the show and the overwhelming experience that shows are, especially as a seller. And that's not really what you want it to be. I think I've made it over that hump. Things still irk me, and I can finish this video and tomorrow get irked about something and make a snarky video about it. So I do understand, but I think we don't all. Some of us want what's best for the hobby and collecting, and so we're passionate about it, so sometimes we voice our opinions more than we should, but I think we have every right to, and I will continue to call out, friend and foe, those that I think are doing wrong by the hobby, or if I think things are not quite as they should be. That's just the way I want to do it, and I expect people to call out things on me. But if you do, put it, say it, and I will address it. I will come on your channel and address it. Otherwise, I will probably not come on your channel, unless it's something very important having to do with knowledge of the hobby. So that is it. I just had a fantastic time. No pickups. I hope you enjoyed the E98 Christy Mathewson as much as I do. It's a big deal. It's got me halfway through the color run of that set, and I'm going to hopefully finish that off maybe in the next couple of years. We'll see what kind of come around the bend. Those are all generally low-grade cards, and as you know, with vintage, especially pre-war low-grade cards, there's a broad spectrum of eye appeal on those. So I'm not super picky, but I'd like something that looks pretty nice in those lower grades. So you guys have a good weekend, and thanks for watching.